and of course they let the foster parents abuse them. That's where the smart pedophiles become foster parents. What percentage?
I have no idea, Alex. I have no idea, but I know that the vast, vast majority of the ones that I have dealt with come from dysfunctional families. They are dysfunctional themselves. They have no idea what a normal relationship is with a child or with a wife or husband.
Well, I've been around them a lot. I've fought them, and it's always the guys are like the Nelly, effeminate. I call it, the android pedophile model. You know what I'm talking about. You fought them, and then the women are the butch with the haircut, all crazed. I mean, is that not what you've seen with these people?
By and large, if I had to say there's a stereotype, you pretty well pegged it.
Yeah, fat Nelly, homosexual, and a butch, and then they don't like heterosexual families with kids, and they're waging war. And I'm not bashing gay people, but stop trying to steal our kids in your demon guilds. I mean, I've said it. I've just laid it right out, counselor.
Well, you will not get any argument from me that they are dysfunctional on more levels than one. And go find the real criminals. Don't try to indoctrinate them by putting them into your custody.
But see, that's what these Nelly scumbags like. They love the drama of tearing families apart. They love the power. And I'm declaring war on them.
And no question they like the power. They get paid a relatively low salary, and they have the infinite ability to destroy people's lives.
Yeah,
well,
we're coming after them.
If you're into a power trip, that's it.
Yeah. And again, I've just fought them. I've seen it. I've never seen it where it's not those. I mean, it's what it is. It'll be a weird, chubby, Nelly guy with a demonic face, smiling. I mean, here, let me try to make the face for the TV crowd. And then the woman is like some angry, demon. I don't know how to explain it.
I have been dealing with cases involving CPS since 1982. And in that period of time, I can recall one caseworker that impressed me as coming from a functional family, having a normal psychological makeup. One.
Yeah, so they're either perverts or they're pirates. They're people that just want the money, and they get the bonuses for more kids. I want to bring Kim Hart up, and stay there if you can, Mr. Brott. I want to bring Kim Hart up, Executive Director, National Child Abuse Defense and Resource Center that recommended you, falseallegation.org. What is your comments about this, ma'am?
Well, the problem that we have is social services. Oh, by the way, hello, Mr. Brott. The problem with social services is it was a nice experiment that's gone bad. You cannot give a bureaucracy complete and total control over families and children without accountability or the child abuse mechanism that follows behind it. This is not going to change until we remove the immunity that's been given to all of the people involved in the investigation and prosecution and accusations of child abuse by the state and federal legislatures. It's not going to change. The politicians know what's going on, but the lobby's just much stronger than we.
That's got to be one of the most evil things in the world, because this is a holocaust of families and lives and all the kids that get killed in their custody. And I guess they don't care. The politicians, just the lobbyists come in and they give them the money, and it's radically expanding, isn't it? That's one reason we see people fighting back now, is it's just, they're everywhere. I mean, pretty soon.
The numbers are astronomical. Social services numbers, even as ill-defined as they are, demonstrated for the last many years that there's approximately 3 million, we're not sure if it's children or accusations because, like I said, it's ill-defined, but of those, the Social Services, Department of Health and Human Services, acknowledges that they cannot meet a 51% burden on two-thirds of those, which is 2 million, either children, accusations, we don't know what the number means. But nobody really seems to care about the hell that those families are going through and the fear that it puts in the families.
But that's what this is about, ma'am.
And the power it gives the children once they understand what the power of an accusation is, because they're kids.
But that's why you tell your kids, you want to go live in a prison with big fat pedophiles, you go ahead and talk bad about us. And
well, you can do that, but I mean, kids are indoctrinated in school now, to tell everybody anything about anything they don't like, except don't tell your parents. It's only mandatory reporters.
Well, we got to get out. We got to get rid of the government training camps. I want to bring up Mr. Brott just briefly and let him go because he's a busy man. And then we'll ask your opinion of this, Kim Hart, who's really heading a lot of this up and doing a great job. What should they do? I'm going to send you the retainer. And we appreciate you working on the case. Are you going to call this swamp thing? Are you going to call this creature here in Buda and try to ferret out what they're doing, what their game plan is? They said they'll talk to the lawyer. They won't tell them anything because they're just slaves. Where all this is going? Any ideas of how this should progress? Do they go back to their house and wait for them to send the SWAT team? Because they'll make up false allegations too. What do they do?
Well, first off, you go back and you let them make the mistake. That's my home. I'm not afraid to be in my home. I cannot stop the state of Texas from doing something illegal, force them to make the mistake. Yes, I will call CPS. I'll probably get the same answering machine that Janet's gotten, but I will call.
No, I talked to her this morning. She said she talked to you. It was yes, sir, now that I made some phone calls yesterday and they looked me up. So, I think they may want to move on. Like they thought this was a gazelle, they found that it was a tiger. They're going to move on to some other little poor family and corner them, and which is the pain to know this is just going to keep going on. But I think they're finding out this is kind of a porcupine they tried to eat instead of a nice little juicy gazelle.
Which does CPS want to do an interview? Is that what's up?
Yep.
Well, you are the lawyer, and I'm sure that I don't mean to step on any toes, but if they're going to go back, wouldn't you potentially also suggest third-party witnesses upon arrival and tape recorders in plain view?
Well, obviously tape recorders, but the answer is there's not going to be an interview without me present. Clients aren't talking to them.
Correct. Story. I'm not talking. Never mind. That's not what I was talking about. But if, in fact, when they first just show up at the door, tape recorder in hand, so that they are a little bit more accountable.
Oh, by the way, I even have a little digital camera that shoots video. I'll give you the big camera. I'm going to give you loan you one of the small cameras that'll shoot for like 30 minutes, so you can just flip it on and it'll be on camera and record that way. You got to have that ready and let them know. I found in my experience, be calm but focused. Go, look, you guys are already in enough trouble violating our rights. We've got a lawyer. We've gone to the doctor report. This is all made up. You told her to lie. You're going to probably be getting our tort letters soon. You need to back off, or don't even come to the door. What would you do, sir? What would you do, Kim?
Well, first off, you go to the door, and the answer is, "Where's your search warrant?" I'm not talking to you. Where's your search warrant?
And you say let them make the mistake. I've seen a lot of cases where they'll go ahead and, especially the Nellies, will go ahead and force their way in, kind of following their stomach. They'll kind of just worm in. How do you deal with that when they do that?
The neutral place where you can argue this is a courtroom if it comes to that. You're not going to win with one of these people at the door. If they want to make the mistake on camera, on tape, let them make the mistake. But the answer is, where's your search warrant? You don't have the right just because you're CPS. And
they'll keep banging on the screen saying, there may be abuse. Let's not, let me in. It'll be fine. Just let me in, and then it'll be all right. You're going to go to jail if you don't. You're going to go to jail. And you just say, that's a terroristic threat. That's a lie. What do you say then?
The answer is, you're not coming in without a search warrant. I don't care how long you pound. Make them go and commit to something. Let them go to the police and say there's abuse going on in there. What's the probable cause to believe that there's abuse happening in my home?
Yeah.
Make them make the mistake. It's like when you get pulled over on the side of the road by a cop. You're not going to win there. Let them write the ticket and go to the courtroom and argue it there, where hopefully cooler heads will prevail. But no good has ever come, in my experience, from talking to these idiots.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're going to put them on notice they've got counsel. I'm going to put their phone number out. I think that's important.
Absolutely.
And from a lot of the experts I've talked to over the years, and I like your aggressive stance. My thing is, if you got the time and money, and Joe's on vacation this week, just split. That way, go to the beach or something, or go to San Antonio, go to the zoo, and then, you know, they'll usually move on to some other child they want to kidnap, you know, so they can do their horrible stuff.
The fact that school is not over, I assume school is not over up in Hays County. It's not over down here.
So, yeah, so you think in the next week they'd try to trump up something? She's only missed 3 days of school. Well, what happens when they put her back in school and cops come in and surround her and they show her the letter and they just snatch it out of her hand and say, you're going to jail unless you say your mommy hurt you, which is what they did. And you know, people have trouble believing this. This is what we've seen on countless interrogation videos.
I have no doubt. I'm aware of similar instances. That's why I said you make a laminated card, size of a business card, have your child carry it. I don't want to say anything without my parent or lawyer being present.
Everything we said came